There we go. Okay. That helped.
I don't know
All
how
right,
that
I'm gonna
turned off.
spotlight you. There we go. Okay, so here we are. So I'm officially recording now, so I'll do another introduction. So here we have Jessica Daltrey. She is the owner of Franklin's Paw Spa here in Thorndale. And she is the host tonight for our Local Skills Academy, the first official Local Skills Academy with I Love Thorndale. So thank you, Jessica, for being our guinea pig.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me, and for everyone that's joined. I'm very excited, a little nervous to be here tonight.
Yeah, I promised Jessica we would keep it super casual and have a good time. So we'll go easy on her tonight. Maybe by next week we'll go hard on Debbie.
Thank you.
Jessica, do you want to tell us how many years you've been in business here in Thorndale, or a little bit about your business?
Yeah, so I just opened up the Franklin's Paw Spa here in October last year, so just over a full year. I've been grooming since 2015, so about 5, almost 6 years now. And yeah, I'm from town, so I've got a lot of familiar faces coming in, and a lot of new ones as well, the new subdivision. So hi, everyone. Yeah.
Do you think there are more dogs in Thorndale than any small other community in the world, or is this just like the norm now that everybody has a dog?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I think there's a lot.
Muted her.
Sorry.
Yes, there's tons of dogs everywhere, and I love driving through town, and either way you look, there's always someone out walking about. Lots of dogs in this small town.
Yeah. So I thought maybe we were the only family that didn't have a dog, but Mary Ellen doesn't have a dog. Mary Ellen has a grand dog though.
Yeah, that counts.
All right, so what do you want us to know right now? I guess we are going to talk about some tips for people to provide some at-home care since you have to be closed with the government's restrictions. I know you're going to go through some of that. Probably how to keep everyone's pups healthy and safe right now.
Yeah.
And then we can take questions and stuff too. So I'll keep admitting people, so and if you want to do your thing.
I'll get started, sure, yeah. There's just some things popping up on my screen. Do I deal with that, or is that you?
I can take care of all the admitting and everything. You just,
okay, cool.
You be the expert on dogs. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, thanks everyone for being here. As we went over, I've been here for about a year, and as a groomer. For the past 5 or 6 years, I am very active in dog sports. That's conformation, obedience, and grooming competitions. I like to attend all of these competitions and seminars. Basically a big dog nerd, and I just like to really keep up with learning all of the new things and techniques and skills and products and everything. So I guess I'm going to get into just grooming at home that you can do. So I'm going to kind of go over bathing, brushing, and trimming your dog's nails. I think those are the most common things to go over. So first off, I kind of wanted to talk to everyone about the environment that you're grooming at home. So you just want to be in a very calm environment, quiet, because dogs really pick up on the energy in the room. So if you're really excited and bouncing around, the dog's going to do that too. So just take a deep breath. A lot of people are nervous to, do their dog's nails or whatnot. So just a calm environment is basically key for anything you do with your dog at home. Another thing touching on that would be to take breaks. And if you only get one paw done, or one leg brushed, and then you give your dog a break, that's not a bad idea either. So just little bits at a time until you and your dog get the confidence worked up to do everything.
Oh, I'm on here now, honey.
So sorry, I'm nervous, so bear with me. If you're going to bathe your dog at home, basically I would always do 2 washes on it to make sure the dog is very clean, and then use conditioner and get them to be, sorry, my dog's bouncing around. And when you're taking them out of the tub, make sure they're very rinsed as well, because if you leave shampoo in there, they can get a little bit itchy, and you don't want that. So you'll be working against yourself. So let's talk about brushing first, I guess. There's lots of different tools that you can use to brush your dog. The most common one that people grab is something like this, where it kind of looks like a human hairbrush, where it just has the teeth go straight up, and some of them even have pins on the end of the teeth. I wouldn't suggest using this specific brush for dematting your dog, because it is just straight tooth. You're gonna look for something more like this, how the teeth come up and then they barb out to the front or to the side. And basically all these little teeth, if they're going up and out, they'll catch all of the knots and kind of work as a team to work through all the tangles, okay? There's different lengths of the teeth that you can get in the brushes. And then when you're done brushing the dog, you're gonna use a comb to check your work. So I'm going to get Tyra out and show you how to do it. So give me a second here.
While you're doing that, I noticed Penny's got a puppy there, and the dog looks excited to see other pups. So this is hilarious that this is a social time for the pets. Never even thought of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I got my dad here helping. So this is Tyra. She is my wire fox terrier. I show her in conformation, so in dog shows, and she's going to be our little demo dog to show you how to brush them. So nice and close to her. Good. So basically, to brush your dog thoroughly, I start at the toes, and I like to work my way up each leg until the shoulder. And then I'll work on the back leg and then do the same thing all the way up. So do all of the limbs starting at the toes, and you work your way up. And then you can start at the tail, and then again, work your way forward. And you're going to do what's called line brushing. And the reason you do the line brushing is to make sure you don't miss anything. So lift her up, lift your dog's leg up, and just gently kind of keep it in their natural movement. You don't want to pull it out to the side or pull it in. And some dogs kind of have paws that turn in or turn out. So just be really mindful on which way your dog's toes maybe are pointing, because it may not be comfortable for you to bring it right back. So if it's more comfortable, bring it into the side, just do what's comfortable for that. And the same thing with bringing it out. So Tyra, she's got nice straight legs. So I'm just going to bring her leg gently straight forward. And then I'm going to pull the hair up with my thumb, just gently, and I'm holding onto her paw. And I'm going to start brushing and making a line. Okay, and then I'm going to work my way all the way around. And I formed that leg. She's already been brushed out, so I'm just being gentle. And then I'm going to just pull a little bit of hair up at a time and work my way up the dog and to form that line. Okay. When you're brushing the dog, you don't want to brush too far or too hard down, because with any tool that you use on the dog, you can give them what's called brush burn, and that's just from going over the same spot too often or too hard. So I'm just going to brush the hair and kind of just pull it out away a little bit. Okay, and then I would brush maybe a couple inches all the way around, and then I check my work with my comb. So a lot of people will brush their dogs and then I'd still have to, shave the dog because it's not brushed thoroughly enough. So if you can't run your comb through the dog, then it's not brushed enough. You always have to check your work. So again, line brush your dog. And I don't have a groomable dog, so a lot of you guys have dogs that have, long hair everywhere. So it's hard for me to give you a proper demo, but I'm just working with what I have, thanks to COVID. But yeah, so just again, line brush your dog all the way up and then comb it. You can also use a detangling spray. And all of these products that I'm using, I can post links onto my business page, or put it in the comments on the I Love Thorndale. If there's any products that you guys would like me to suggest, I'm more than happy to post links and talk about what would be best for your dog. So this is just a detangling spray from Wren's Pet Depot, and you just kind of mist it on and then work with the coat. So if there's some tangles in there, just work through them and just comb with the line all the way up. And then always check your work. If you're doing your dog's head, you can hold on just very gently to, there's a lot of your dogs will probably have a beard, so you can just very gently hold on to their beard. If your dogs are one of my clients, most of them are trained just to kind of rest their head. As you can see, Tyra, you can see that she's resting her head on my chin. So a lot of the times I don't even have to hold on tight to the beard. It's just for their own safety, because if I'm getting in there scissoring or whatnot, I just want to make sure that they can't accidentally move, or some dogs like to sneeze and then it just bangs their head forward. So it's just for their own safety to hold on to their beard. When you're brushing their beard, it's the same idea as the leg, is you can make it a line brushing. So you're just pulling it down, brushing a little bit, and then checking your work with the comb. Pulling it down just a little bit, and then checking your work with the comb. And then you can use your leave-in conditioner and everything as you go. It's a lot easier to brush and comb through your dog if they've been clean, but it's also super important to brush your dog and dry them all the way. Because if you don't dry them all the way, then the moisture can stay along the skin and then cause all the hair to kind of shrivel in and mat and form like a very thick layer along the skin of matting. So is there any questions about brushing your dog? I don't know if anyone has any questions, or if we want to tackle the questions, all the questions after, but does anyone have any questions about brushing your dog?
Yeah, we can take a little pause. If you're muted and you have a question, if you want to wave your hand or use a reaction or anything like that, I will. Okay, Susan has a question. Go ahead, Susan.
Yes, Sprocket likes, well, when I brush Sprocket, I don't have a table. So should I actually put her on top of, say, the dining room table or something? Because what I typically do is brush her while she's laying down.
Yeah, Susan, that's a really good question. So handling the dog, but if you have a small dog, Sprocket, it's definitely more beneficial to put her up on something. So if you're willing to put your dog on your counter or kitchen table, if you have a bigger dog and you have a sturdy coffee table, because that table is a little bit lower, but definitely elevating your dog is very, it'll help you out in the long run. You put them on a chair or anything. If you have someone available to hold the dog for you, I would suggest putting their collar on. I know, as you guys can see, she's falling asleep, but usually this is a little bit looser. But if you have someone holding, just have them serve as like an arm. If they're holding for you, don't get them to, coddle them, because then the dog will think that you're cuddling them. So just literally get them just to gently, they don't have to pull up, just to have someone be there so they know to stand still, because you don't really want to put them on a table and not have them secured. Unless you know your dog really, really well, they're not going to jump off. Safety is definitely key if you are going to putting them up. But yeah, and Sprocket, if she lets you brush her while she's laying down, even better. That's awesome. She's calm enough to let you do that.
Okay,
yeah.
Thanks, Jessica.
Did that answer you okay?
It does, thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Jessica, I have to say you're doing a great job. You said you were nervous, but it's obvious like this is your bread and butter. You're doing a great job. So,
okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else that has a question?
Does anyone else have a question? We're good?
No, I think we're
good.
I think we're okay. Just scanning all the little boxes and stuff. So yeah. Chelsea says she has a question. No.
Can we get a dog?
Can we get a dog? No. I'll mute us now.
That's great. Another thing with the brushing. Oh, sorry. Good.
I was just gonna say, I'll ask this question: what dogs do not shed ever?
Poodles, there's lots of hypoallergenic dogs. There's tons. I'll
There you
message
go.
you.
Okay. Okay, carry on.
Okay, so another thing I just wanted to note with the brushing is really focus on the high friction areas. So in a collar, which all of our dogs wear pretty much, the harness area, armpits, and then areas where, again, high friction. So their joints. Basically, this is the hock of the dog. So high friction area and like movement areas would be right up in here, up in the tuck up here, armpit, and the ankle. So picture your dog running. Anywhere that there's just a lot of movement, it's all the hair is going to tangle together and cause matting, as most of you probably have seen in your pet before. So high friction areas, leave-in conditioner, and always check your work with the comb is definitely, those are kind of the main points for brushing your dog at home. I'm going to go to nail trimming now, which is a scary part for a lot of you guys. So thanks, Tyra. Thanks for your help there. For nail trimming, if you're going to do your dog's nails at home, I would really highly suggest that you use, or make sure you have a styptic powder. It's just a little powder that you put on your dog's nail, just in case you accidentally get it too short and you make it bleed. I wouldn't suggest doing your dog's nails if you don't have this, just because it'll make a mess. The nails will they'll bleed a lot. And I know a lot of my clients, after the last shutdown, were telling me stories about all the different situations that they've had and just the blood's everywhere. So if you have to do your dog's nails at home, just make sure you have styptic powder. It's just good in the long run. In addition to the styptic powder, you'll want nail trimmers, obviously, and just make sure they're sharp, because if you have dull nail trimmers, it'll just kind of pinch the nail before it actually cuts it. So just having them sharp will just be helpful. And then lastly, optional, and a lot of people's kind of safety blanket is a Dremel. If you don't have a Dremel at home, it's no big deal. You can still get the job done with the trimmers, but the Dremel can kind of help. It just grinds the nails down and softens the edges so they're not as sharp, but also it's harder to quick the dog if you're just kind of shaving the hair down or grinding the nails down. So I drew a picture because I thought kind of learning a little bit of the nail anatomy would maybe make your nail trimming situations a little more confident. So here, and just forgive my art, I'm not an artist, I groom dogs. So my first picture here is the nail. It's like the pad, here's the dog's paw, here's the nail. Can everyone see that? And then here's the quick. So basically, I always make my cut perpendicular to the ground, because usually a lot of people will make it even with the ground, and then that's not anywhere near short enough, because you're actually being able to take all of that nail above off too, if you do it perpendicular to the ground. And then my picture number 2 here, and this is going to make no sense at all until I kind of show you, but this is just kind of the way my brain works. But this is the paw. This is if you have the paw and you're looking down on it. So bird's eye view with the paw lifted. I don't know if you can imagine that. And then here's the quick that goes in the middle. So, and then the nail kind of sharpens. So I'm going to get Mally now. She's my demo dog for her nails. Okay. Mally doesn't like her nails being done. She's going to look very sad. Very, very sad. I'll also show you guys with big dogs. If you have big dogs and want to do your nails at home, I'll show you how to hold them if they're on the ground, because you don't really, maybe you don't want to put your bigger dog on a counter or a table. But again, if you have a coffee table, that's a little safer, but make sure the coffee table is stable enough to hold their weight. So just use your judgment. And then I'm going to get my dad to come out around back here so I can work on the back side. Ask Melly to stand up. So bring it in right here. So that first picture I showed you of the nail, And if you're lucky enough to have a dog with white nails, you'll be able to see all of the pink where the tissue is and where that blood vessel is. If you have a dog with black nails, I'll show you kind of the general landmark to look for. So then Dad's gonna come over to back here. So that second picture that I drew, I don't know if how clear the screen is, but basically you're looking down on the nail. And that first picture that I drew, and this is the part that's going to make absolutely no sense, so bear with me for a second, use your imagination. I kind of imagine this as being half of a canoe. So if you kind of see, if I'm sitting in the canoe looking forward, how it comes to a point, that's the stuff that needs to come off. So as the canoe kind of starts coming to a point, anything after that is what needs to come off. I don't know if that makes any sense, especially over Zoom, but it's very easy to explain in person and you can kind of really see. So, and I'm gonna just take a little bits off at a time. And again, she hates her nails being done. But after I take the initial clip off, I'm gonna just take little tiny pieces off from corner to corner.
Professor Proton, you're kidding. He's still alive? Yes.
I don't know if you can see a little pinprick there. That's when you know the tissue's starting. And especially it's a lot more obvious when you have a black dog's nail. It's dark black and then you'll see a light gray pinprick, almost a circle. That's how you know to stop trimming, because that's when the quick is going to stop. That little pinprick is just tissue starting. So again, here's the dog's nail. I'll do this one now. I'll do this one now. And right when it starts to kind of taper off, that's the stuff that comes off. I do one initial trim, and then I'll just gently go back and forth until I see that little, until you see that little kind of pinprick there. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. Now, if you have a Dremel, you can still use your nail trimmers after you have, and then use the Dremel. So turn the Dremel on, and then you're just going to very gently round it off. And again, she hates her nails being done. And that just kind of files it down and gets them nice and short. So if you were to accidentally get her nail a little bit too short, I just take a little bit of the powder on the tip of my finger and then dab it on if I were to do it. So I mean, she's not bleeding, so it's not going to stick, but basically you just tap the edge off. A lot of people will put the powder in the lid and then try to put the lid against the paw. That just makes a really big mess. So if you're comfortable with just putting it on the tip of your finger and then dabbing the nail, it just saves a little bit of a mess and it helps clot the blood a little bit better if you get it too short. Now, treats are key. So if your dog is a little bit wiggly or doesn't really appreciate you doing their nails, and every puppy that comes in that I have on this table, I always just literally do trim, and then I give them cookies. And then I do trim, and then I give them cookies. So even if they're not being wiggly, I just reward them just for a couple snips, because dogs love treats. So keep that in mind. Maybe have like a little stash of treats by your table and just give them food as you go. So thank you, Mally. Does anyone have, before I put her down, any questions about trimming your dog's nails?
Michelle had her hand raised from before. I don't know if it was related to the brushing and stuff before, but I'm going to ask Michelle. I'm going to unmute you, and if you want to ask your question now, Michelle.
Hi there, it's Michelle Coughlin. I don't have a yet, but I have a beagle in the works. She's actually growing in her mother's stomach right now. Just
Yay.
wondering, yay, yeah. So I'm just wondering though, if there's any general rule on how often you need to brush and how often you need to be doing the nails. Is there like a general routine, or just when you kind of see that it needs to be done?
That's a great question, Michelle. I tell my clients to come in at least once a month, but if you are doing your own nail trimming at home, I do my guys every couple of weeks, and that seems excessive, especially to kind of general pet owners. But if you just kind of get them, especially if you have a puppy, get them in on your table or wherever you kind of designate to be your grooming area. Every couple of weeks, and if it's a puppy, just let's say every Monday, just get them on your table, just kind of clip the tips of the nails off, just so they get used to it. Once they're used to it, you can kind of figure out a routine that works for you. Mally and Archer, I do them every 2 to 3 weeks, just to keep on top of them. The terrier there, I have to do hers, who's falling asleep. I have to do hers every week because her nails grow super, super fast. So when you get your puppy, you can kind of gauge out as they grow, how fast they grow. If you're walking them on cement, that helps not file them down. These guys, I live in the country, so they're always on grass. They're not on cement, city streets, or sidewalks, filing them down themselves. Sorry, that was a really long answer, but basically once a month. If you can do it more than that, it won't hurt. And then also, a lot of people think when you hear the ticking on the ground, that's kind of a good kind of standpoint to go off, but you don't want to let it go any longer than that, because that ticking is the nails obviously hitting the ground. And if the nails are hitting the ground with enough pressure, or they're long enough, it'll put a lot of pressure on that first knuckle of the paw, and especially if your dog is older, it'll cause them pain, and the arthritis, if they have it, it'll really aggravate it. So keeping them short so you can't hear the ticking on the floor is your best bet.
Okay, thank you. And just one more question. I know you're local, so Thorndale, but where is your spa located exactly?
Yeah, so I'm right beside, if you're familiar with town, right beside Sassy's.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Right beside Bella Vita. So you go for your spa, the puppy goes for puppy's spa,
Yes.
and everybody's happy.
Excellent.
Jill and I were joking,
I know.
we need to come up with a package.
Yeah. Stacy had her hand up, but she's lowered it. So I don't know if she still had a question. I see Susan has a question too.
Yeah.
Stacy, was your question answered?
Well, not really, but I didn't know. Hi, Jess, by the way. More about the tools. I have an older pair of nail trimmers, but they're kind of dull. Is there a way to sharpen them, or is it just kind of like scrap it and get a new pair?
I'm sure there is a way, but in all honesty, I just get a new pair when they're dull, because they're not too, depending where you get them from, they're not too expensive. So it's up to you. I don't know where to take them. I have my sharpener guy that comes and does all my scissors and blades. I've never asked him to do nail trimmers. So
Perfect.
if they're old and dull, you can always, like, Amazon's pretty cheap to get this.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Jess.
You're welcome, Steve.
Okay, and Susan had a question.
Yes, Jess. When you're doing you did the rear paws. Now, when you're doing the front paws, are you turning? What angle are you doing it at?
So, Dad, can you see? So I literally pick them up like a horse's hoof. I don't know. I just pick it up like that, just very gently. Again, if your dog's now, Sprocket has very straight legs, so you would pick them up like I'm doing right here. I'll hold it like this, and just do this paw like this. If they're wiggly, Dad, just back up a little bit, just so you can see. I'll cup my hand over the dog and hold onto this paw and do it like this. Just so if the dog wiggles, I can use my elbow to kind of just gently hug them. I mean, I'm not squeezing them against me, but I'm just holding it there so they can't really get too far away, because it's kind of awkward to do it. You know, she's good, so I could. And a lot of the dogs that come in, I can just whip through. But if your dog is being wiggly at home, sometimes holding them like this and going like trimming them this way or trimming them this way.
Okay.
And then same thing with the back paws. If you need to kind of hold them a little bit better, trimming your arm, just because then you're holding them like this.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you.
Does that help at all? Just
Yeah.
basically the natural position.
Because
As
I was
natural as they'll let you hold
holding them up the front, like front ways.
However, they're kind of walking, whatever's comfortable for them. And if she lets you brush her laying down, if you can trim her nails laying down, that's again amazing. A lot of show dogs like poodles, all the grooming's done on their side because they just fall asleep for it. So if you can train your dog to go through the process laying down, you're both laughing.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That help at all?
Yes, very much.
Okay. While Archer's on the floor here, if you guys have big dogs, I'll show you how you can hold your dog if you got, I mean, he's not huge, but he's as big as I got. So he thought he was free. So we'll bring him back. So this is gonna look awkward because he's not tall enough, but this works out really well if you have a German Shepherd or a Lab, or Stacy, you have Gizmo and Gypsy. If you take your knee and put them, so again, it's gonna look awkward, but put it under them. And then again, this kind of acts as the elbow was with the smaller dogs. So that knee just gives them the hip support. And then you can do your ding, do both back legs. And then when you're doing the front legs, it's the same thing as the big dog, just trim, trim, trim. Okay, if that helps at all. Now he runs away. Any other questions for nails?
I don't see any other hands or waving or anything else, so carry on.
Awesome.
Well, Chelsea wants to know how many dogs you have.
I've got these 3 dogs here, so here I can take them down. So Tyra, the wire fox, and then Mally, who was just demoing, and then Archer, who's now pouting because he thought he wouldn't have to demo anything. So these 3. So that's the brushing and the nail trimming. Does anyone want to kind of maybe the face trim? I can help you with the face trimming too. A lot of you guys probably have Shih Tzus or dogs with beards or bangs. So I'll show you. She doesn't get her hair trimmed, but I'll just pretend just for education's sake. So it's super, super important to make sure your dog is clean and dry and no mats on their kind of where the eye boogies would be. And then also if your dog has any eye boogies, don't do any trimming unless the face is completely clear. It's very easy to, you know, pinch the skin or tent the skin and accidentally trim them. So to trim your dog's face, again, just like you were doing the brushing, very gently, just hold on to their little beards and not just a couple hairs. If you're holding on to just a couple hairs, it'll pinch them and make it uncomfortable for them. And you really want to make sure this process is as easy and comfortable for them as possible. So I'm going to hold on to her beard. And then before you go ahead with your scissors, you can, you know, stroke them or pet them with it just to see what their reaction will be. It's better that you see their reaction while your scissors are closed rather than while your scissors are open, and then that's when accidents happen. So just kind of pet them with it, see what they're going to do, maybe make the sound so they can kind of listen to it. I mean, these scissors are really quiet, so it's pretty easy. But what else I was going to say? So when you're doing the actual trimming, let's see if I can get her so you guys can see a little bit better. You're going after the eyes where the eye boogies would sit, the hairs where the eye boogies would sit. So take your thinning shears. You can use straight shears as well. I would suggest thinning shears, which is basically the ones with the teeth and then a straight edge here. And it's just a little bit more forgiving. It doesn't make like a straight line cut. I mean, if you're just doing it just to get rid of the hair and you don't care what it looks like, then you can use a pair of straight scissors or kitchen scissors, which I would really not recommend using kitchen scissors because they're not as sharp, and then you're going to be fighting with the scissors more than you are going to be actually trimming the hair. So using your thinning shears, you're going to get right in where the eye boogies would sit, and then again over here, just where the corners of the eye. You can match it from corner to eye if you want to get the hair in the middle too. And then when you're doing their bangs, you just pull a little bit hair forward at a time, and then you can go in like an upside down U. So I would go again from corner of the eye, view it into the corner of the other eye. And then you're just going to clear. And then you can always, you know, pull a little more hair forward and going and just make a U. Some scissoring techniques that I can just very briefly go over if you do want to do any cutting. I would suggest, just for safety's sake, just to avoid cutting if you can, just because it's very easy if your dog's moving, if you don't have the proper setup, it's very easy, accidents happen. Hi, Tika. And, but if you absolutely have to, keeping your hand very, very still. So if you're scissoring, don't kind of scissor, so scissor and pull away, scissor, pull away. Don't do that because it's more of a chance of the dog moving into whatever you're doing. And it's easier, you don't have a steady hand, so you can kind of pinch the skin. So if you're gonna do scissoring, keep your hand very steady and just go until that hair is gone. Don't ever pull, like, here, come here. Don't ever pull the hair away and then snip, because what you do is you create a skin tent, and then it's very easy to just cut the skin and all. Dog's skin is very, very thin, so you won't even know that it's cut until your scissoring is done. So just be very, very careful and make sure your dog isn't moving around too much. Does anyone have any questions for trimming their dog's eyes? Good.
Penny. I'm gonna unmute Penny.
I am. Hi, Jessica. I have a question about eyelashes. Katie has really long eyelashes.
Yeah.
And how short should you make them?
Well, I'm weird and I love eyelashes. I think they are the cutest thing on dogs. So if dogs have eyelashes, I tend to leave them or like style them and make them look like a cartoon. But if you're at home, you just do whatever works for you. It's
okay, all right. I was just wondering if like I thought I heard a thing about if you cut their whiskers or if you cut their eyelash, like it does something to their sensory things. Is that true?
Cat.
Like cats. Oh, okay.
For cats. Cats
Okay.
need the whiskers, and I could be lying, like I could be wrong. Cats need their whiskers to fit into spaces. I don't own cats. I don't know how to groom cats, so I could just be making that up, so don't quote me, but that's just what I've been told. But
Okay.
dogs, many dogs get their eyebrows, eyelashes, and their whiskers trimmed off, and it's never affected them. So
Okay.
it's just a thing.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Another thing is with some dogs, if their eyelashes are too short, and this has to do more with their eyelids, it's called entropion. And basically that means the eyelids kind of curl in, and if the eyelashes are a little bit too short or long, like not the perfect length, they'll grow in and kind of irritate the eye. But you'll know, like your vet will know if they have that condition. So then you'll just kind of have to leave or take them off according to the dog.
One Democrat now working on a resolution to censor Trump. Will that?
Good questions.
Any other questions about eyes or trimming anywhere?
Oh, Susan, she gets extra points. She wants extra ballots for the dog.
My question is about the beard.
Yeah.
How flat do you make, like, you know, with their lip, like the bottom portion and then there's the top portion, right? So
For Sprocket,
Yeah.
yeah. So for Sprocket, she gets the same haircut as Tyra, so it's kind of convenient she's on my haircut. This is a more of a breed specific thing. This isn't like a general thing. So for Sprocket herself, you basically want to make a line from the outside corner straight down to basically see where her canine tooth is.
Mhm.
That's where her goatee starts.
Okay.
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 I groomed her just before Christmas, so you should be able to see kind of where this trimming, like along the beard, the cheeks start. And again, the length of that is just a personal preference too. So if you don't like it as long as it is, go ahead and trim it. But
Okay, but just trim it like trim it on an angle, not at a.
on an angle from the corner of the eye. So
Right.
I kind of draw a line, an invisible line with my comb. You see, it's an awkward angle.
Okay. Okay.
I have from the corner of the eye right to that flue is what it's called, where the canine tooth is.
Okay. All right.
It's not a full out beard, it's more of a goatee.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I think some people's pets get more personal care than parents.
Oh, my dogs do.
Are there any other questions from anyone? Just
Hey,
a
Jessica,
reminder-
Jennifer from Bosco, Ruby, and Tuca.
Oh,
What
hi,
about
Jeff.
what about those big mats behind the ears? Do you have any tips for keeping those at bay?
So I don't have the brush with me. Hold on, let me look here. Those mats between behind the ears, I would, and this goes for any breed, not just your guys, I know they're natural coats, but whatever you do, don't use scissors because that skin behind there is like cat skin. It is paper thin, super easy to do the whole skin tent and then trim thing. So don't use scissors. If you have clippers, I would suggest that's the safer way to go. If they're not crazy tight or bothering them too much, I would maybe suggest waiting until I can clipper them out just with the right tools. But if they are bugging them, you can always get a mat splitter, it's called, and it's just like a little plastic thing and it has a blade. It has a blade in it and it's just, it's kind of like a scissor in a plastic C and it just goes in and you split the mat. And then you can kind of work with your fingers, pulling them apart. Use your detangling spray and your brush, but again, just keep an eye on the skin that you don't overdo it and cause irritation to the skin. But those mats are tricky, so just be very gentle, whatever you do use down there.
Okay, thank you.
That help? Okay.
Okay, and Tracy has a question.
Yeah, another question, Jess. I know when the dogs come see you, they get like a special shampoo that helps with their skin.
Yeah.
I guess with the cold, dry weather, they've been a little itchier than usual. And you try to give them baths not too often. Like there's so much stuff on the internet that contradicts itching, how to like save them from itching. But do you have any tips for how to help with the dry skin this time of year?
Yeah, and again, just like you said, there's so many tips and tricks for everything. What I find works for me is I have to, especially because of the dry heat in my apartment, my dogs are all itchy, especially this wire fox too. I just put them on like an omega oil from the vet. You can get omega capsules from Shoppers Drug Mart or like a human one. I wouldn't suggest those. I would suggest a vet product because it does go through testing and it is safe for your animals and you know exactly what is given to them and the dose that you're giving to them. So there's those omegas that you can give them. As for shampoos, there's lots of different hydrating shampoos, but the thing is, if you do bathe your dog, you have to make sure you dry them properly and thoroughly, because if you leave them wet and then they just kind of air dry on their own, and again, that moisture stays along the skin while the outer coat dries on its own, that'll cause more irritation. So a lot of people think they're helping their dog by bathing it and then letting them air dry, but really it's just kind of causing more of a battle for the skin barrier. So there's lots of different shampoos. And again, I can post, or if you want to message me, I can kind of show you what I would recommend, and then see if that helps. But yeah, drying them is the most important part with the hair dryer. unless if you're lucky enough to have a velocity dryer like I have. I'll go on a tour too and show you what I use.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
Does that help at all?
Yeah, definitely. Because we just bathed them this week, and after they were itchier. So we didn't dry them; they just air dried. So
yeah.
So
and that's what a lot of people do with matting. If their dog's tangled, they think kind of like our hair, right? It's easier to brush our hair while it's clean, and it is a great theory. But the thing is, they have to be dried properly. Otherwise, it's just a battle. You're just working against yourself for so many things.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Michelle has a question too.
Yeah.
Hi, it's just Michelle again. I just actually have a couple questions for you. The first one being, do you retail any of the products that you're talking about, such as the comb, the brushes, or the clippers?
I don't, only because when I first started this grooming business, it's a whole different insurance and I don't have the store space for it, but I'm more than happy to send you links or just the actual brand of the brush. And if you want to do your own kind of price checking, just message me on my business page or text me. My number's on my page and I can definitely send links. Or if it's easier for everyone, I can just make a couple posts with all the stuff that I've been using or that I would recommend on my actual business page.
Okay, great. And as far as like your grooming services, what do you offer? For example, what would like a full grooming package be? What would that consist of? And what are we looking at price wise? And then how often would you recommend that being done?
I'm sorry, I'm not just on my one big screen. So is this the Beagle?
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a general, I don't want to ask a question just for my particular breed. It's more of a general, like, what do you offer? How much does it cost? What does it include? And how often should it get done?
So that is a fully loaded question because every dog and breed requires their own service. So if you have a dog like a Shih Tzu or a Poodle, I would say I like to get my clients in every 4 to 6 weeks, whatever kind of they can make do. I know people drive from all over, so whatever they can make do, but ideally at 5 weeks or so for a full haircut. And all of my services are all inclusive unless you come in for just a nail trim or like just a bath. But if you come in for a full groom, it's all inclusive for whatever that dog breed needs. So if it's a German Shepherd, they'll get the full de-shedding, a solid brush, a full blowout, ear cleaning, nail trims, and Dremels. If they have long hair, like a natural curl long hair, I'll trim up the pants. And if it's a dog that needs a haircut, like a Shih Tzu or a Poodle, they'll get the whole haircut. So all of my services are all inclusive. And then prices, like you asked, it's all over. I usually go by the hour. Average salon rate's about $55 an hour. And it really depends on the dog to give an accurate price.
And we certainly hope.
Excellent, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's large. It's going to take an awfully long time.
Okay, so I just thought I would remind everyone, Jessica has offered to do a draw for tonight.
Yeah.
So everyone that's here is going to have their name entered for a year's worth of nail trims whenever the government decides that that's okay to do again. So I think you said your dad was keeping track of everybody that's here, and
yes,
you know,
so
people
let me just
that got locked out. I was putting a password on this, and it's so we'll get everybody's name into a draw, and Jessica's providing that prize. And then I Love Thorndale's putting together an additional prize that we're going to draw for in a couple of months, and it will have products from all the different businesses that are going to be featured in our local Skills Academy. So I know Debbie from Zeraldo Alpacas is going to be our guest next week. And then we've got Anderson Ales. So the schedule's eventually all going to be up on the website. I've got part of it there right now, but just keep checking back to the website to see what's up and coming, because it's, you know, there's, like I said, when we started, there's lots of options out there, and people are really responding with some really great ideas, like even a tour of the fire hall and different things. So I just wanted to mention that. So I'm not wrapping things up, but I just thought I'd give Jessica a break from talking, and while everybody's here, just mention that. So does anyone have any other questions before Jessica moves on to the next little phase?
Let's take a look.
Hey, Duke. Hi, it's Sherry.
Hi.
Sherry.
Hi, Kevin.
How you doing? It's been a while.
How do you dry a dog that hates the dryer?
I have, and you can get these online. When you say hates the dryer, what does he do?
Freaks out.
Does he freak out?
Yeah.
So I have what's called happy hoodies. You can order these online, or you can use like a towel or a sock too. And this goes over.
Additional food variations of it.
So a lot of people laugh and think these dogs look adorable, but these hoodies, they're a little bit thick. They're just like, it feels like a towel. And I use this on every dog, whether they're scared of them or not, the dryer, and it just goes over her head and it covers her ears. So it acts as like earmuffs so they can't hear it. And also, I don't know if you guys have heard of thunder jackets where it's like a tight sweater. It acts like a hug. This is a little tight too. So it adds a little bit of pressure and kind of, having that tension there kind of relaxes them. I don't know why, it just relaxes them. So if you have something that you can wrap around their towel, or like a towel wrap around their ears or their head, make sure they can still see, because if they can't see, it'll give them more anxiety. That being said, some dogs, if they can't see what's happening, it works out better. So just really gauge out your dog. Also, if it hates the dryer, if you can get away with a minute or two of just drying a little bit, give them a break. Lots of breaks, lots of cookies, and just kind of removing them from that stressful situation definitely helps them. And then just doing it in small doses. So if you're in a rush, or if you have somewhere to be, maybe plan this so you have a couple hours where you can put your dog down on the floor, let them chew a bone, let them just rewind and de-stress, and then put them back on your table, do a little bit more, and then just work with them. But unfortunately, with at home grooms, you don't have the whole setup that I do. You just kind of make do with what you have, but definitely covering their ears.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions before I do my tour?
Any other hands or anything right now? So I think it's safe to carry on.
Okay. And again, if you guys have any questions, or if anything kind of comes to your mind after the fact, I'm not working right now, so I've got lots of time to chat with you. So just message my business page. And I'm more than willing to help you. And if you need to do like a video chat, I'm here. So I'm not working. Okay, so my tour is very short because my Swan is very, very.
Is your car insurance so you only pay for what you need? Really? I did. Okay, I'm on by.
Let me. Let me turn you around. And then usually most of them are pretty surprised. I'll hop right in there and see if my. There's my tub. And then turning around, I got all my shampoos as well. A whitening shampoo, a skunk shampoo, a dog if they have yeasty skin. Like there's so many things. And then all my happy hoodies. We kind of just talked about that. And then I have a big velocity dryer. So I use it before I use like what you guys would use your hair dryer. This one's just like a high output air, and it blasts all the hair off. And that's what I use the hoodies for. Oops. And then coming in here, I got all of my dogs who are having a nap. Lots and lots of different supplies. And my actual table. Don't mind the mess. I've just kind of been throwing stuff as I've been on this meeting. So There we go. And that's the grand tour of my little itty bitty salon. That's all from me other than the draw. So if anyone has any questions or anything or want to chat about anything, let me know.
Again,
See anything?
take a listen to some of the.
Jessica, I think this has been great. Like, I know you said you were nervous, but I think this has been like just really informative and really engaging. And I can tell that people are really soaking in all the tips and tricks. And it's, I assume for a dog owner, this is really important right now when they can't come to someone like you who has all this experience. So it's so valuable that you're sharing these skills. You know, I imagine that some people might want to keep these tips and tricks to themselves because later it's, you know, maybe takes from their business, or maybe you're fearful of the damage people will do. But I think it's just really great of you to share that. I see there's lots of people saying thank you. Can't wait till you reopen. All in the chat there. Heather talking about being fearful of trimming nails. So hopefully this gives the people confidence. Of course, all of Franklin's Paw Spa contact information is on our website, on the Isle of Thorndale website, but maybe on the page, maybe I'll just share my screen quickly. Not that. Take you to the website. So everybody's been to Isle of Thorndale, so we've got this honkin' thing here with the schedule. If we click on that, it takes us to the Skills Academy page, so where we've got this special offer here. Maybe I'll just add a few of the suggestions you had, Jessica, for some of the products, and just that people can contact you to order the products, because I think that was a good question. Do you retail them? And who would know that you actually need another license for that? And, you know,
it's definitely something that's on my list. It's something I've been wanting to do, but it's a whole different license and insurance. And then COVID happened. So being a new business and then trying to have all these fun ideas and then COVID happening just kind of put a delay on a lot of things.
Yeah, so I guess we're going to ask all our businesses this. So if we can't purchase products from you to support you, or, you know, obviously we can't come in and do business, what are the other ways that we can offer our support to your business right now?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Honestly, you'd be surprised how much support you give by just liking and sharing and just participating in social media. It's the easiest, and it's just the most supportive thing you can do. Like, share, comment, engage in fun things like this. So thank you so much, everyone, for doing this with me. Yeah, and that's just not for my business, everybody. If you have any sort of favorite small town, local business, just like and share their stuff. It goes a long way.
I think a lot of people agree with that message. Yeah. Okay, well, are we ready for the draw?
Yes.
Okay.
Dad, you want everyone in there?
All but you and I.
All but you and I, okay.
Dad has been a lovely assistant.
I know, he's the best. Catherine, did you have a last name?
No last name.
No last name. So there's a Catherine on here with no last name.
I see a Catherine with a C.
Catherine. Is she still here?
She's still here. I'm just finding her on the screen.
Oh, Kathy Trajan. Awesome.
That it's not legally enforceable.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, Catherine, you are the winner of, oh, I see you now. I'm going to unmute you if you'd like to.
You're welcome. Your supply of nail trims.
Oh, cool.
There we go.
Sophie says thank you too.
Hi, Sophie. Awesome. Yeah, if you guys if anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to message me. A lot of you have my phone, just text me. During the last shutdown, you'd be surprised how many people were calling me like mid-nail trim saying, Jess, what do I do? So don't ever hesitate to reach out to me for anything. I'm here. Okay.
Very much appreciate
and I think last time when the ban was lifted, whatever, it's not a ban, we can't do business. Did you have a waiting list to like people who wanted in?
Yeah, but like I've been so lucky with all of you guys, all of the clients, that everyone understood that we're all in this together. Like, it's just overwhelming, the amount of support and people that are, like, you know, willing to wait and just understand that there's a lot of people and only one of me. So thank you all very much.
Okay, so this has been recorded, so I'll make sure that I upload it to our YouTube page, and then I can share it to our Facebook page. And then Jessica, you can share that, and everybody can share that. And like Jessica said, even just a little like and share goes a long way. So always keep that in mind when you see all these different business pages just trying to promote what they have. So just again, a reminder, Debbie Zeraldo is up next week, same place, same time. And the week after that's Anderson Ailes, and we've got a real estate panel and the Markdown King, and all sorts of great stuff coming up. So, you know, where else are we going to be? So thanks everyone for joining, and hopefully we see you again next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jess.